welcome to the Daily Divorce Dads Dojo, the 4D. I'm your host, John Clement. It is January 29th, 2025. I'd like to start out by thanking everyone for the support that I've received on the release of the book that we're diving into a little more today. Divorce Court Destroyed My Life, Now What? How to give yourself and your children a fighting chance for a comeback in life. So thank you so much for all that support. The book will be out ASAP, as soon as possible. We are accepting pre-orders, and a pre-order link will be down below the video. So speaking of down below the video, we got a couple other goodies down there. One of them is a link to our Divorce Dad Facebook group and our Divorce Dads Dojo Facebook page for people who are finding it difficult to find support groups or support networks in their areas. Well, we got the internet. So we just launched that a couple of days ago. You've been saying hi to some people on there and stuff. So welcome aboard if that's something that can help you. Speaking of helping you, in this book, Divorce Court Destroyed My Life, Now What? How to Give Yourself and Your Children a Fighting Chance for a Comeback in Life. The second half of the book, which we haven't touched on much yet, has got the life hacks. It's got the strategies to help you out. So if you are listening to this in the future and those chapters are already there on YouTube, on this channel, just skip to them. If there's some problem, something that you need solved, or if the book is out, the link is down below to purchase the book. So if you've got immediate physical needs like legal, financial needs, food security, health issues, transportation issues, stuff like that, the life hacks and strategies that helped me during time periods like when I was homeless and on the street in 2012 and stuff like that, because divorce court was seizing 86% of my income in spite of Missouri law supposedly limiting that to 50%. If that's, if those are the things you need, then definitely you need to skip ahead. For today, we are looking at, we're in chapter 2 on myths of the book, myths of the situation that divorced dads face, because by debunking these myths, this can help us develop a warrior or a soldier mindset. And so yesterday we looked at myth number 1, myth number 1 was the idea that what you're going through is an exception. For whatever reason, you've just slipped through the cracks in the system. Yeah, a lot of idiots will tell you that. So today we're looking at myth number 2. Another thing a lot of idiots will tell you, and even officials, when you speak to people who work for the government, they will tell you this horrible lie from the pit of hell that what is happening is your own fault. So let's take a look at this particular myth, okay? Another psychological weapon that the divorce industrial complex tries to use against divorced dads is self-blame. People will try to convince you that you yourself are the cause of what's happening to you and your children. Now, I'm not going to give you a blanket pardon at this moment and just say that you are entirely not to blame, because I don't know you personally. I don't know your particular situation personally. Maybe you cheated on your kid's mom. I don't know you. I'm on the internet talking to strangers. Maybe you have alcohol issues or drug issues or anger issues. Maybe you've been in jail several times. I can't at this point say that you have had nothing to do with setting the current set of events in your life in motion, because I just don't know you personally yet. However, do a little plug here for our Facebook group community. Now, what I absolutely can tell you is that the divorce industrial complex doesn't care about your history or what you've done or not done. And the divorce industrial complex is the real enemy. No matter what you may or may not have done to contribute to you and your kid's mom splitting up, the divorce industrial complex is anti-family, anti-child, and anti-father, whether you are Ward Cleaver or a bum. It doesn't matter. If you've split from your kid's mom for any reason, whether that reason had anything to do with you or not, the divorce industrial complex is ready to move in and destroy you and your children. Now, if you yourself have actually done bad things as a husband and a father, you have to own them and change. But under no circumstances, ever, 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 accept blame that is not actually yours. In life, there are two kinds of events: things that we ourselves caused and things that we ourselves didn't cause. Understanding that takes nuance and a willingness to sort things out. A lot of people that you and I meet every day don't want to go to that kind of effort in life. They go to one extreme or the other. Either one extreme, nothing is ever their fault, and they blame others for everything, or other extreme, everything is their fault, and they destroy their own self-esteem, their own confidence, and their own motivation by beating themselves up even harder than the world would. And the world, as we know, beats up people pretty hard. So it's important in life to sort out which of your issues are your fault and which are not. Own the ones that are. Refuse to beat yourself up over the ones that aren't, no matter how much people will try to convince you that they are. So first, let's talk just for a moment about the issues that are yours. And then we'll get to the ones that are not. So if you do actually have things in your history or your present day that you have to make right, such as alcoholism, violence, drugs, crime, etc., then you do need to fix those things. As I write this, I am reminded of the sermon from my local home church last Sunday, in which the brilliant pastor Billy Foster told a story about a person who had huge issues with self-worth and self-acceptance because they felt that they could never be a good enough person because their mother didn't love them enough to get off drugs and straighten her life out for them. He told of the devastating effects on young people with parents in prison because they feel that their parents don't love them enough to straighten out their lives enough to be able to stay out of prison once they get out. Now, like I said above, I don't know you personally. Your issues may not be as extreme as alcohol or prison or drugs or violence or having cheated on your kid's mom. But if there are real issues that are actually yours, you have to deal with them. Now, on to issues that are definitely not yours. Okay, so here we're getting into the divorce industrial complex. In 2016, I testified before 3 Missouri State Supreme Court so-called justices. I testified to my experience in 2012 being made homeless because so-called child support was seizing 86% of my income, in spite of Missouri law supposedly limiting it to 50%. I testified to my mugging and near stabbing on the streets of St. Louis. One of the so-called justices on the bench responded by telling me to my face that what had happened to me was my own fault for, quote, not making enough money, unquote. Now, what is a black-robed tyrant like that doing on a judicial bench anywhere, let alone on a state Supreme Court? That is shameful and unacceptable. Now, I mentioned yesterday that the United States of America is entering, a new era of accountability for public officials. And it is up to us, we the people, to make that stick and to make that continue into the future. But anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but let's get back to the excerpt from the book. So, do not let people, no matter who they are, hypnotize you into thinking things that are not your fault are. That is a form of mind control to get you to accept abuse, mistreatment, peonage, and disenfranchisement. One particular thing that many people will tell you is your fault is that you are the one who chose the mother of your kids. They will tell you there were signs or red flags you should have seen, or you should have taken more time to get to know her. Now, I've been told this by idiots over and over. Some of those idiots have apologized and are still my friends to this day. Now, the idea that what your spouse did is somehow your fault for choosing her is pure hogwash. Newsflash, people lie. People can be fake. Now, my current wife, Anita, before I met her, was a single mom. She was impregnated by a man who dated her, lying the entire time, saying that he was a single man, when in fact he was a married man with multiple kids already in his marriage. Once, when I was courting my current wife, she told me how moved she was that I unconditionally accepted Angel, my stepdaughter. By that time in my life, I already had a total of 3 kids from 2 divorces. Myself, I told Anita that I understand that sometimes liars reproduce with you. Marriage is a covenant, like a contract or a treaty. It's a promise. Now, how is it your fault if other people break their promises? So no matter what you may or may not have done to precipitate divorce, what is happening to you is most certainly not your fault with regard to the divorce industrial complex. Now, in this book's previous discussion of myth number 1, we covered the financial motivations of the divorce industrial complex to destroy you and your children. The divorce industrial complex is the real enemy. So, and here on the YouTube channel, that myth number 1 was discussed in yesterday's video, and it goes into detail about how the divorce industrial complex profits from destroying you and your family. We meet a little character there I call Judge Mimosa. I've included some clips of him in the visuals for this video today. And so there's some details as to exactly how Judge Mimosa is able to take his Hawaiian vacations and sip mimosas in his hammock while spending the money that was supposed to be for things like your kid's college fund or maybe even your retirement. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. Down below, you'll find another goodie that I haven't mentioned yet. You'll find links to some of my fiction, serialized fiction books on the internet, which you can read for free, but you can actually support me financially at no cost to you simply by subscribing to the books. And one of the books, Don Espino de la Rosa and the Dinos of Dreadcastle, is based on the fantasy role-playing characters that my sons grew up playing with me. They're kind of silly nerdy game master dad. Played games such as Dungeons and Dragons and other games like that. These were their characters, and I feel connected to my sons every day when I write on that particular book. The books are fiction. I'm kind of a nerd, so they may not be your cup of tea because they're fantasy, sci-fi, stuff like that. But simply by subscribing to the book or any of the books, you can actually financially support us in what we do here. And one of the books, directly is, it's a divorced dad. It's me writing about the adventures of his sons in their gaming. So don't forget to check out our Facebook group. Say hello to the Divorced Dads community there. Now you got this, Dad. You're your kid's dad. No matter what the government says, you are your kid's dad. No matter what some black-robed tyrant judge says, you are your kid's dad. No matter what your kid's biomom might say, you are your kid's dad. Even if your kids have been brainwashed by parental alienation, you are your kid's dad. Do not let the enemy win in your mind. If you let them win in your mind, it's over. If you never let them win in your mind, you win. It's your mind. It's your identity as your kid's dad. Only you can give those things up. I know you hurt. I hurt too. But it's time to get up and fight, fight, fight. We'll see you tomorrow for another session of the daily Divorced Dads Dojo, the 4D.